Hi, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we're Creative for Learning. Today we're going to talk about difficult holiday conversations with your students.
Christmas time, yay!
No, it's happy holiday time.
What if it isn't happy for me?
What's not happy about snow days?
I grew up in California where there isn't really winter and we never got any of your stupid snow days.
Stupid snow days. So, there's a lot involved with holidays, and how do we as teachers handle it? How do we handle it? We're going to share some of our thoughts and experiences from holidays in the classroom. The hope with this is not to tell you what you should be doing in the classroom, but to get you thinking about how you handle the holidays and the effect it has on your students and the classroom environment as a whole.
This topic can get a little heated because there are some strong beliefs involved with the holiday season. Red cup, green cup, snowflake, snowman. And when it comes down to it, it causes us to question our own personal truth about our existence. We let it.
It's deep. Let's not get that deep right now.
All right.
Let's just focus on some basics. We as teachers get to decide how we want to direct our classroom environment.
The decision is affected by whether you teach at a public school or private school or Montessori or wherever. If you teach at a religious private school, the decision might be a little easier for you. It might be a little harder. I don't know. If you are at a public school that doesn't have administrative restrictions, you get to decide if you're going to represent all holiday traditions in your classroom, or are you going to avoid teaching about any holiday themes at all?
In elementary school, we are often with the same group of kids, so you might have time to integrate themes into your classroom more extensively.
Yeah, with secondary, I had lots of students for short periods of time. Like we're talking 40 students in each classroom times 7 classrooms, 280 students. So how am I supposed to represent everybody's, holidays?
I'm the type of person that tends to be hypersensitive to the complexities of situations or possible complexities, and aware that there's all these different students in my classroom and they have different beliefs. So for my peace of mind and attempt to decrease my stress, I chose not to teach holiday traditions.
Wait, so what complexities do you identify with the holiday season?
So there's identifying all the holiday traditions that my students could possibly celebrate while not unintentionally offending anyone with how they are represented. So there's some people that try and do all holidays, but I can think of Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christian Christmas with Jesus, secular Christmas with Santa, a mixture of both, people that don't celebrate anything, people that don't celebrate things like Jehovah's Witnesses, where they're against celebrating things, and I just avoided. There's probably some that I might even be forgetting, and I just didn't want to have to deal with that, so I avoided all that stress on myself and just kept my classroom winter themed with snowmen and snowflakes. I like snowmen.
Wait, snowmen or snow people?
Okay.
Snow women? Snow girls?
Snow
boys?
Snow people. Okay. So complex. Anyway.
Snow boys. That sounds like it should be some kind of ice cream sandwich.
A snow boy? Anyways. So I taught 1st and 2nd grade. And even though I just integrated like fun winter themes into my classroom activities, holidays always came up, like holiday topics. When the students were like doing activities in class and I let them whisper talk, just in casual student discourse, things always came up. There was always some variation of like a conversation about Santa not being real. That always came up. That's like a heated debate in lower elementary.
So there are 1st and 2nd graders that are already in on it, and then they're like going to tell the whole world that it's...
Oh yeah, like there's my mom told me Santa's not real.
She's Santa. She brings the presents.
Your parents are lying to you. And just like it would get... I always knew I was always aware.
Did you know which kid it was going to be?
I could kind of guess sometimes, because there were like the more vocal ones.
Yeah.
And that's helpful because then you can kind of hear the conversation. I always had my ears ready to like listen for like, okay, who's gonna because just teacher advice, like Santa, you got to make sure don't mess with Santa, because some parents can get really, really mad.
Yeah, you mess up all their family traditions.
Yeah, and then even the other topics like Jesus, you got to protect what people believe. Anyways, yeah. So, or even like, if someone believed in Santa, this would come up where it's like, you believe in Santa. I had on more than one occasion in different years, kids saying, you're going to hell because you believe in Santa. And I'm surprised, I don't know, yeah, it would come up more.
Is that because hell froze over? So he's at the North Pole? Never mind.
No, I don't know. Like, it was just, I think, they've got their beliefs. Because if they're believing in Santa, maybe some kids are taught that, like, they believe in Jesus or, anyways. So, and then there were even maybe talks about, like, Jesus not being real, or if there's a Jewish child and they don't celebrate Jesus, and then that would come up because kid did believe in Jesus, and then there's just always, whatever the variation of whatever conversation, they're distressing for the students. So I taught elementary. It's because a lot of them are confused too, because they don't totally know what they're believing, what they're being taught to believe. Some of them believe more. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, they've only learned one way to look at the world so far, and they can't accept how somebody else is viewing the world in a totally different way. Like it's
like mind blowing, especially at lower. Yeah. So I mean,
don't call my parents liars. You know what I mean? Like that's what
it's obviously going to be a different level as they get older. Like
I still had that in secondary as well.
You did?
Yeah,
anyway, so usually, okay, but I wouldn't just let it go. I feel that like they would need to be addressed because my classroom environment is important and I am modeling for them. So what I always needed to address it, and usually I'd only need to address it with like the small group of kids at the table, but I would just kind of sometimes I'd need to do it as a whole class because there might be a student that was like particularly passionate and vocal, and they just really thought their personal worldview was right and was trying to sway people. Yeah. But in general, it just needed to be a small group, or maybe like 2 kids, depending on the conversation.
If it came up, like when those came up in my classroom, I would address it with the whole class, not because I was trying to tell them what was right and what wasn't right, or how to think. I didn't ever want to tell them how to think. But I did want them to start thinking. And so since here was a situation where they could start thinking and start being empathetic, I would share it with my whole class because it's an opportunity for them to learn how somebody else needed to learn to be empathetic in this moment. And there's no blame or shame there. Let's all talk about it. Like, so they believe that, you believe that. Like, we can just both be here, right? And so I would bring it up when it came up.
Yeah. So I just tried to model for my little kids. Try to model listening that showed people that you were hearing them, and then that you were showing them respect. So I just tried to model it.
Yeah, we can't take sides in this. Don't take sides.
Don't take
you
sides.
Are the mediator. You're the teacher, the neutral. Unless you're at a private school where your beliefs are accepted as the dominant belief. But even then, and maybe even more then, right? I taught for a few years at a private school, and there's some people there that need to be empathetic, and they need to learn how to do that. And so if all we do is just dive into the beliefs and stay in that echo chamber, then I don't think that's healthy either.
And I'd like ask them if they wanted the other student to make them feel bad for what they believe, and they would say no. So I reminded them.
Yes, I want them to make me feel bad.
So then I always reminded them to treat each other the way they wanted to be treated. That was like, I think when I was teaching, that was actually a standard. I remember too.
The golden rule is a standard. Wow.
It was. And then there was and then another example of a conversation was the possibly more distressing example of Santa is Satan. I would have kids, Santa is Satan.
In secondary grades, this morphs into, Santa anagrams to Satan, which they all have the same letters, to which I would answer yes, and Britney Spears anagrams to Presbyterian. Is that supposed to mean something? To which they reply, who's that? Wait, is she that crazy old mom lady who shaved her hair? And then the situation's done.
Anyway, so...
But in lower grades, it doesn't go away that easily.
No, it doesn't go away. This was like traumatic. So I'd leave, and I'm pretty sure this happened like in 2 years that I taught, different years. Anyways, I'd leave the Santa is Satan situation to a one-on-one conversation with the student. Just addressing that's not respectful.
Yeah.
Because although I don't know how much I got into explaining it, it just probably depended on the student. Anyways, but I would keep it as we respect each other, we treat each other the way we wanted to be treated, and if someone said something hurtful about something we believed in, that wouldn't be cool. And then when I was asked bluntly by students during school hours about like my beliefs, I tried to switch it to their beliefs. So like,
Mrs. Stevens, do you believe in Santa?
oh, do you celebrate Santa? Does Santa bring you gifts?
Yes, I do. He's so fun.
What kind of gifts have you gotten from Santa?
My first question was, do you believe in Santa?
See,
yeah,
actually,
they don't do that.
What it almost always the students would not realize that I had redirected the conversation and I hadn't answered it. They were just excited that I started talking to them about Santa.
Works for secondary too. This direction, they almost never come. There's, you know which students. There's like 3 students in your class that might bring it back around. Just always remember that there are most likely parents or guardians represented by each of these students. Someone once called them the shadows. I had 275 shadows every year. And imagine they are hearing what you're saying to their children and whether they will approve. An easier, maybe even more close to you is imagine if your student's teacher, your child's teacher, were saying that to your student. Would you be cool with it? I often told students to talk to their parents about whatever topic was distressing. Can you defend your approach to how you address the disagreement in a way that will be acceptable to parents or administration or social media or the news? All right, because teachers get on the news these days. If you need a quick out, you can redirect students to what they should be focused on, but log the disagreement in your mind because things can brew, and then as you listen to little conversations while they're working, you can be aware of when the fire will burn and blow up into some big conversation. And that's the key, is we just want to keep this respectful, and when it gets big, teach them how to navigate different beliefs with different people. Even though it's Santa, it's really a doorway into this bigger conversation about respect and understanding each other and empathy.
And bullying, maybe even.
Yeah.
In different ways. Okay, so conversation of the day. Share a funny or cute or difficult holiday story that you had to work through.
Put those down there. We'll all learn about each other. Have some fun with those cute stories. So thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Subscribe. Share this conversation with somebody else. And as always, keep being awesome.